they picked right back up where they left off and continued earning belts, beads, and some of them even went into playing the alto recorder, which is about 3 times larger than the recorder they're holding. And they earned a series of bands on the alto recorder. What's challenging about that is it's exact same fingerings, notes that are a fourth apart. So they start to learn about transposing music. And on this recorder, this fingering is a B, but when I move to this recorder, this same fingering is actually an A. And I have to remember the difference between the two when I'm playing. I think that was really hard for those of them that got that far. And then when I brought them back to their soprano recorder to play for you, they were like, wait a minute, I forgot how to play this. Like, it'll come back, don't worry, give yourself a couple days and you'll get it. But now they're able to transfer between the two instruments, which is a really neat thing. Our first few songs that we're going to play for you today are from our low D packet. This is a packet that they played from last year. It is the packet that their purple and blue belts come from. And I have given them the goal last spring, and I also gave them the goal this year, to try to earn 5 achievements throughout the course of the unit. So for students that earned 5 last year, they would have ended on purple. If they never came to school here last year, they maybe have never played the recorder. So they started back at white just like everybody that did last year. Students that did it last year, but it took them a little bit longer to get the gist of what their fingers were supposed to do, maybe only ended on green or orange last year. And so this was a packet that they were playing from again at the start of this school year. Our couple of songs from this packet are going to be Old MacDonald, and then a really easy one that's really short that they were like, what? It's over? And I thought, that would have been a hard song when we first started. It's called Rondo. Those 2 songs we hope you enjoy. Are you guys ready? Yeah. Old MacDonald is not hard because of the notes. It's hard because it's fast. So they would much prefer to play this without the music, but they're going to challenge themselves to play it with the music at a little quicker tempo. Right? Here we go. Oops. For students that earned their belts all the way up through blue belt. So friends, listen carefully to my words. This is last year or this year. Okay, it doesn't matter what year you earned it. If you earned your white belt, the very first one, raise your recorder up, just nice and high so they can see your belts on the end. Keep them up if you earned your yellow, which was second. Keep them up if you earned your orange, which was third. Keep them up if you earned your green, which was fourth. Purple, which was fifth. And blue, which was sixth. So as you can see, the great majority have earned the accomplishments so far. Our next one is going to be the red belt. Keep it up if you did red. Excellent. And lower them down. Our next few songs are from the high C packet, which is the blue poster as you work your way across from purple all the way to white. This was the order we taught the notes. And it's where they earned their red belt. And we have Corn Song, and we have, which other one? Hush Little Baby? Is that in this one? Yeah. It is Hush Little Baby. I almost said a 4th grade song. That's what happens when you do 2 4th grade concerts and then come right into the 5th grade concert. You have to remember which ones they're playing. Are you ready? Corn Song. Corn Song is a little challenging because it has repeat signs that are not just at the end. They are in the middle, so they have to track the music jumping around a little bit. Here we go. So they've already maxed out kind of as the belts or beads that they mastered for the year. And so as we play future songs like this, of their 11 songs in the concert, we still have 8 more to go, we talk a lot about how to play as an ensemble and how you play when things get really difficult, or how you can continue to participate with your peers when it's hard for you or when you don't have all the skills mastered yet. Friends, who could share something with our audience that you could do to still play with your peers even if the song is a little bit more challenging than what you can play? Allie.
Skip the notes you don't know.
You can skip the ones you don't know. So in this particular song, I brought this up for a reason. Every song in here is a B, an A, or a G, which were the first 3 notes that they learned to play, except the brand new note, which is C. So if they don't know C yet, they can still play 98% of the song with their peers, and then on the C, they just rest. So they just don't blow. And they practice the fingering, or they'll wait and come right back in on the next note. That's one strategy. What's another strategy we can use as the music becomes a little bit more challenging? Jackson.
You could play like one specific note.
You can play one specific note. This choice would not be good for this song because it's mostly B's, A's, and G's. But if there was a song with a lot of the new note, like the C, or our next new note, which is going to be high D, and there were many of them throughout the song, you could focus on just the new note. So you pick your one new thing. I'm not going to worry about anything else I know. I'm just going to get really good at playing this new note and play that throughout the song by tracking still with your eyes. Anything else that somebody wants to share? Trevor?
Chin position.
Chin position is a great option. All students, when they learn a new song, I've asked them to kind of look at the rhythms first, clapping the rhythms. Then they go back and they do something I like to call chin position. They rest it on their chin. They practice the different fingerings while they're reading the notes. I have found that if they can't read the notes and practice the fingerings correctly without blowing, it doesn't get any better when they blow. So some of them will musician and they'll be reading the notes and you might see them B, B, A, you know, E, E, E. They're practicing their fingerings, but they're not blowing yet because they're not ready to blow yet. They want to make sure that what comes out of this sounds like music and not noise, because that's what we work on all the time. Right, friends? All right, our next packet is the high D packet. And we have 2 songs to share with you from that packet. The first is Jesu Joy of Man's Desiring. This is the one that I always joke with them once they learn this. They are like family entertainment. So you're going to have a dinner party, you know, they can play for you. If cousin's getting married, you know the musician. This is a piece written by Johann Sebastian Bach, and it's a classical piece of music that's been around hundreds of years, and it's so neat when they can kind of get their own take on being a part of something that is so amazing that it's been around that long. So, Jesu Joy of Man's Desiring. Don't spoil the wedding. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Remember 3/4 meter as well. So this first one you have to hold for 2 beats, right?
Yeah.
We don't always want to hold that one for 2 beats.
Song 35, Jesu Joy of Man's Desire.
Very long intro. So just relax. I'll tell you when to be ready. So raise your recorders up high if you earned your brown belt. Keep them up high if you earned your black belt. The black belt added an additional challenge. They not only had to play a song for me, they actually had to compose their own song that had to be 8 measures long. It had to have 3 heartbeats or 4 heartbeats in each measure, use the rhythms that they know and the notes that they know. And they not only had to play it for me, they had to let me look at it so I could make sure that it had all of those things that I asked them to. The next packet is F sharp. Raise your recorder up high if you had your white bead. And keep it up high if you earned your yellow bead. Okay, so we can see we're starting to have some hands drop here and there. Go ahead and lower your hands. Our next note was F sharp. So the first challenge with any note that is sharp is getting them to realize that it's not a hashtag. Which I never would have dreamed about when I was like learning to be a music teacher. You're going to have to remind them that this is not a hashtag. And when they don't think it's a hashtag, they think it's a number symbol, which also looks the same. So it's a sharp, it raises the note a half a step. Often we teach F sharp before regular F because the fingering's a whole lot easier. The fingering for F sharp, everybody, is what we call I call it the Texas Longhorns fingering because I'm a football fan. But they don't use their pointer, they don't use their pinky. if they're doing regular F, they have to play everything but their tall man. So this is a lot more challenging with your ring and your pinky on there than it is to do the two in the center because they're fairly strong fingers in the middle. So our next few songs are going to be from our F sharp packet. This one, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star Theme and Variations, is often one I use for a grand finale. It's very challenging, but this year we went a little bit more festive with our grand finale since it's December. So enjoy Twinkle Twinkle Little Star Theme and Variations. You'll hear the melody the first time through, and then you'll hear two different variations where the rhythms change, but all of the melody notes are still the same. So you should still be able to hear that melody carrying through for variation 1 and variation 2. Ready? Here we go, 61. Texas Longhorns. Here we go. And give you all the Caribbean vacation you're longing for this December. Are you ready to go to the beach?
Yes.
Okay, good. Me too. Let's go. Nobody will notice we're missing. 1, 2, here we go. For orange bead, do you have your report? And keep it up for green bead. Both of those came from this next packet. Go ahead and lower them. And this one, friends, is regular F. Pointer, ring, and pinky. Okay. Here we go, from the New World. they get to cover everything, and they've been waiting for that forever. But they hate to play it because it's the hardest note to play. Playing low notes on the recorder becomes progressively more difficult the lower you get. So this is the lowest note they learn to play. It's also where I stop presenting new notes to the students. We have students that have gone beyond this for belts beads and bands. But in order to do that, I had to individually teach them notes that were going to be included in their music that were new. This is where I stopped kind of as a universal curriculum. So everybody has learned this note even if they haven't achieved these beads. But going beyond, it will be students that kind of went above and beyond to learn more notes than what everybody else learned, if that makes sense. Raise your recorder high if you earned your purple bead. Good job. And I would argue this is probably one of the top 3 most difficult songs we're playing too, right? We have Twinkle Twinkle, this one, and then I think Jingle Bells at the end.
Yeah.
This one's the most fun? Okay. Camptown Races. Remember, friends, when it repeats, there's 2 measures in the middle that we have to rest before we come back in. Okay? Camptown Races. 1, 2, here we go. Went above purple bead. So raise your recorders up if you earned your blue bead. Keep it up if you earned your red bead. Keep it up if you earned your brown bead. Keep it up if you earned your black bead. And would you 4 stand? Sorry. These 4 went through all of the belts and all of the beads, some of them almost last year. Trevor, I know, got to like brown bead last year as a 4th grader. So he started at black bead this year. The rest were very, very close. And they went into the bands where they got to play the alto recorder. That was very independent. So I would work with them. I gave them all their supplies, but they got a book and they had to kind of read through the book and look at the different fingerings and help with that. They could always ask me questions if they had, but they put in a tremendous amount of effort on their own, inside of class and outside of class, because it wasn't, like I said, universal instruction that everybody received. Stay standing until I get to the amount of bands that you got. Does that make sense? And you don't need to clap until the end. We'll clap for them at the end. So we'll have white band, yellow band, orange band, green band, purple band, blue band, red band, brown band, black. You went all the way through all of the bands. But I want you to know that this is truly personalized to them. I had to add, actually, the bands. I didn't always used to do the bands. And then students were like, Mom, I'm done. What's next? And I was like, we're going to play the alto recorder. And I had to come up with something new. So It's really, they get to work as fast or as slow so that they're comfortable and that they can achieve what their goal is. And I'm proud of all of them because they did an amazing job. So, congratulations to all of you. We have a festive little number for you here, right? Jingle bells to end. It's also a duet. So we're gonna play it the first time through, every single one of you playing recorder 1, and I'll play the jingle bells. Then I'll start the music and we'll play it a second time through. If you're going to play recorder 2 with me, you may drop down to the bottom line. Everybody else continue to play recorder 1. We hope you enjoy our grand finale jingle bells. Oops, sorry. Okay. You ready? I'm gonna give you 8 beats. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're so glad that you were here. Friends, if you want to connect with your families, what I'm going to have you do first is go out into the cafeteria. We'll have them come out next so you can connect with them before they head to PE. And then we actually have a next group coming in to do a concert right after you, okay? So why don't you gather your things and head on out to the cafeteria. Families, you can meet them out there. Thank you so much.